Shalini Ahuja here.
This is Good Morning Mumbai, and you're with Rishi K.
Radio 1.
Hey Sachin, hey Shalini, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
First and foremost, what really is SafeBaby? Who's going to take that?
So let me take it.
Yeah.
SafeBaby is India's first business focused on child safety. Our goal is basically to prevent accidental injuries to children below the age of 5. I'm also the member of the International Association for Child Safety. I've done my courses in first aid from St. John's Ambulance and the Red Cross. And we are basically trying to make the environment much safer for children. We work with a lot of play school, daycares, creches, schools. And we do audits for them, safety audits. And we conduct a lot of workshops where we teach them how to make the environment safer and first aid and CPR.
Sachin, are parents in particular are taking this more seriously as in the past? You know, the grandmother, grandfather treatment was like, we didn't need it. So why do our kids need it? Are people waking up to the seriousness of having your baby in a safe environment?
Yeah, I think, Rishi, that's a very good question. And it's a question we get asked often. One of the things about just riskiness in general is that there is a lot of overconfidence bias, right? So, for example, you see it every day on the railway tracks. People have been crossing the tracks for years and they think it's a safe thing to do. So, similarly, in a lot of home environments too, there is a lot of overconfidence bias. Now, look, in the US itself, 2,500 children die every year due to home accidents. And millions go to the emergency room. Unfortunately, we don't have very good data. But if you just think about how safety is viewed in our culture, in our country, then chances are it's a very, very big number. So we find that, we are parents, you are a parent. What could be more important than the safety of your children?
I want to know how you came up with this idea, Shalini. One is the fact that you studied for it. There's no doubt about it. But just to be India's first baby safety experts, like a 360-degree thing that you guys do, where did the idea come from?
So, to be honest, the idea came only when we became parents. Before that, we were just, a couple who loved kids and were crazy about having kids. But when we had a first child, we realized that they're so vulnerable. They're so innocent. It was our job to protect them. Overnight, like Sachin and I started seeing dangers around our house, in the car. So it was an overnight change. And when we came to India, after staying in the US for very long, we realized that the environment out here was not as safe as it is out there. And that's when we thought that this is a great opportunity. It's a great work we'll be doing to make the environment much safer for children.
Kiss tomorrow, goodbye. Luke Bryan. After this, we're going to come back and talk to Sachin and Shalini about what tips they can give parents of young children and how safe really are our daycares and play schools. Hang with us, 94.3 Radio 1. Put his finger to keyboard and he typed out a message to me, Sachin Agarwal, and here he is. SafeBaby.in, that's their website, and you can find out a lot of stuff. These guys do baby safety. It's a company called SafeBaby, baby safety experts. Now listen, Sachin, you did say that in your workshops, other than pure baby safety, you also delve into first aid. A little bit about that, please. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So one of the things we were very, very clear about right from the start is that whenever we are talking to parents or school managements, children being children, they may get into trouble. And if they get into trouble, you need to know the correct first aid to give. And here's what happened in our, this is why I thought of it. My son was probably 2 years old and I was sitting and, having a cup of hot coffee. And, he came running, and that as 2-year-olds do. And before there was any time, like he was on me and I had the hot coffee mug in my hand. There was a coffee spill on him and he started crying. Now, at that point in time, everybody at home, as you can imagine, this child is howling. Everybody at home is like, ghee lagao, put toothpaste, put butter, put cold makhan.
Gharelu nuske,
as we call it. Turns out they are all wrong, right? The most effective first aid treatment is just running water, cold running water. And so I felt that there is a lot of misinformation about what the correct first aid is. And that's why it's so integral a part of what we do.
And in these first aid workshops, how does it work, Shalini? Do you get mannequins, baby-sized mannequins to come in? Do you get somebody who does CPR? How does it work?
So it's a mix of everything, Rishi. We have hands-on training. We have a medical mannequin where we practice CPR on it. We have a very, very good doctor on board with us who teaches CPR. We teach them the Heimlich maneuver. We see a lot of videos approved by the Red Cross. So it's a mix of everything. It's a little bit of training, it's a little bit of video, and obviously hands-on training with my doctor.
You know, it's very difficult to describe Heimlich maneuver in words when you don't have a video to support it, but that's where your talent comes in. Yeah, just describe the actions, because it's really important, because when the child is choking,
Yes.
that's the first thing you ought to do, right?
Right.
Yeah. So just describe that, please.
So it's a little difficult over the radio, but let me give it a shot. First thing you have to remember, the age group of the child is very, very important. The Heimlich maneuver changes when the child is below the age of 1 and different for a child above the age of 1. So let's talk about above the age of 1. It's basically like you put your hand around the tummy area, basically in between where the rib cage ends and your belly button. You put the hands there and you give inward and upward thrust. So please remember the movement is inward and upward
As
thrust.
well as upward. Yeah.
Yes, it's not inward and then upward, or it's not the other way. It's both together. And so basically whatever's choking in your windpipe kind of gets thrown out. Always remember that do not, tap the head, because all these home remedies that sir pe maro, it's a simple thing of gravity. If anything is stuck in your throat, it will just go deeper. So you have to lean forward. You can give a back thrust, like back slaps, between your shoulder blades. And it's like 5 back thrust, back slaps. And then if still the body, the foreign body does not get unclogged, you have to give the Heimlich maneuver, which is the abdominal thrust. So 5 of those, and then you keep doing it.
Well, I'll say this, that I've seen Shalini do this to Sachin. And she looks like a character out of Kiefer Sutherland's 24 or Anil Kapoor's 24. Yeah? And that's a compliment. I mean it like a compliment.
Thank you.
They're from SafeBaby. Listen, give out coordinates. Where are you available on Facebook, your website again, all those things, please. Yeah.
So you can reach us on safebaby.in. Either by website or on our Facebook page.
And is there an email where they can write directly to you in case they want to? Yeah.
info@safebaby.in.
info@safebaby.in. Messages and back with Sachin and Shalini from SafeBaby. Pictures of them are coming up at HRISHIKY on Twitter. You can follow that handle and you'll see them on the timeline. You can also react to this interview there. Facebook.com/radio1.mum. You like the page and you'll see them on the timeline, and you can start posting right under them, okay?
94.3 Radio 1.
Joy is
Nostalgia music in conversation with Sachin and Shalini from SafeBaby.in.
This is Good Morning Mumbai, and you're with Rishi K.
Radio 1.
Okay, just some tips for parents of toddlers, of babies, stuff that we cannot negate. What tips can you give parents of young children?
I think, Rishi, the most important tip I can give is make safety a habit. They're not one or two things. Safety has to just become a habit, just as hygiene has become a habit with all parents and all schools. We always wash our hands before feeding our kids. Similarly, safety has to become a habit. It is tough initially, but once it is, it's a very good habit to have picked up. To give very few tips right away are like when you're having hot coffee or any hot beverages, please be very, very careful. 80% of the burn cases are because of a hot beverage at home. Be very careful where you are storing your medicines, because poisoning is number 2 reason for rushing to the emergency room.
And you did say, I'm sorry to interrupt, that even pediatricians often don't know
The
what
poison
exactly to do with
control
the
number, yes.
poison cases. you know.
Absolutely, Rishi, because each poison is a very different thing. So the first instant is like to make the child vomit whatever he's had, but that is the incorrect first aid. You have to find out if the liquid eaten is corrosive in nature or non-corrosive in nature, and then only can a doctor advise you. And if you
because if it is corrosive in nature,
then you do
coming
not
again through the food pipe could cause holes, right?
Right. Punctures, small little holes. So that is the incorrect first aid. So that's why it's very important to give as much information to the doctor what you should be doing. That's why you should not store anything dangerous, anything like cleaning agents in small drinking bottled waters. Because if a child, God forbid, was to have it and you were to call a doctor, you do not have any information to give the doctor. What has that child have? So please be very careful where you store your medicines and cleaning agents. Also be very, very careful about the coins and small objects in your house. Give very age-appropriate toys to your child. It's very, very important. When a child is choking, he cannot call for help to his mother who's in the next room. So be extremely careful. And, the list is pretty long, but please make safety a habit. And more than anything else, I cannot emphasize enough, please learn first aid. That is extremely, extremely important.
So your workshops, how often do they happen?
So for schools, we keep happening them as we do the audits and workshop. But for parents, usually we have a workshop once every month, usually the last Saturday of the month. And if there are a group of 10 mothers who usually contact us, then we go over to their place or they come over to our office. And we do conduct a workshop specially for them.
And the office is in Andheri East? Yeah?
Yes, and we also conduct workshops for nannies in Hindi. And we have realized that, the response has been very, very good. When we conduct only nannies workshop, Rishi will be really surprised the kind of, experiences they share with us, the near death, the horrifying experiences they have faced, and they tell us what's happening at home because they're more comfortable when the parents are not around. So not a single workshop of mine has gone by when parents, teachers, didis have not shared near death or like a really, really scary incident with me.
So dates for all these workshops, for the nanny ones, for the parents, all available on your website?
Yes, we do. On our Facebook also.
Okay, when we come back now, how safe really are our daycares and our creches? That's my vital question to them. It's in excess, Pretty Vegas, Shalini and Sachin from SafeBaby.in. In conversation with Shalini Ahuja and Sachin Agarwal. They are together, SafeBaby.in. India's only company which does what it does. They're baby safety experts. Their goal is to prevent accidental injuries to children inside and outside the home, daycares, creches, everywhere. Now, you were running us through some essential safety tips. Just finish that off, that discussion.
Sure. One very, very important tip for parents at home are the coffee tables. When children are learning to walk, please do not have anything, especially sharp cornered coffee tables right in the center of the room. It's very, very simple. Move the coffee table away. Give them as much free space. In Bombay, we all lived in pretty small houses. So give them as much floor space as you can. Don't keep anything sharp, when they're learning to walk. Give it clutter-free because when children are trying to walk, they do fall down. So just not having sharp corners because, most of the cases seen in the emergency rooms for bleeding cases are because of sharp edges. So please be very, very careful. Tipping over of TV has started showing up even in researchers in Bombay now. Please wall mount your TV. It's very, very important. It's a very serious injury. And, again, don't be in a hurry to give your child, higher age group toys so that their fine motor skills develop. Please give age-appropriate toys only to the kids.
How safe are our daycares and creches, especially for working parents who want to leave their children there, don't have an option? And more importantly, Shalini, what are the right questions to ask before identifying the correct daycare or a creche?
So, it's a very difficult question for me, but I think the short answer to it is they can be a lot safer. Having said that, I feel the biggest problem we face is that daycares, play schools are not regulated. They're not regulated by the government. There's no body that's seeing that how safe they are. So it's extremely important that the government steps in. A small initiative with the Maharashtra government did that the Handi, children below the age of 12 cannot participate in the pyramid.
Yeah.
That's really nice. That way the government needs to come in and see how safe our play schools are. Having said that, we have seen a wide variety of daycares and play schools. So some are extremely good. The management is very, very safety conscious, whereas some are mom and pop run daycares out of their homes, which I would worry about sending my own child to. But the good news is that all the people I work with, all the school managements are extremely safety conscious. And that's the reason they call us. They get their centers audited. It's very, very satisfying work that when you go back for a surprise audit, you see that most of the changes you had recommended have been implemented. So immediately we see that the environment has become much, much safer for the children. So I think as parents, if you are looking for a daycare or a play school for your child, asking that are the teachers first aid certified? Asking has there been a round of baby proofing? going around and seeing where the cleaning agents are kept in these schools. Just keeping an eye open, just looking out for safety concerns. And, what we feel that parents, they usually ask about the curriculum. What curriculum is the play school following? Would the food be given to the child? So these are definitely important questions, but I think safety should be your priority. You have to feel comfortable. We feel that this is an understanding that, of course, the play school is safe and, of course, nothing will go wrong. But please do not take these things for granted. Please ask the correct question. Find out if the teachers are first aid certified. Because you'll be surprised, Rishi, that when we conduct workshops, teachers are young girls sometimes who don't even have kids. Sometimes, obviously, they have kids and they are well aware of first aid. But most of the cases, they do not know what to do in a bleeding incident. It's just, pure panic has been created when a child cuts himself or gets choked. So please ask the correct questions.
And what about finger pinching, which is another such a
Finger
important
pinching
thing?
is very common in play school and daycares. And again, it's...
Explain what finger pinching is. This is basically...
Finger pinching is basically, the door frame, your finger could get pinched at two places. One is the hinge side of the door and the other is when the door is closing. If whether your or mine or worst, a child's finger comes in, it can get hurt very, very badly. So the correct first aid is to give cold compress to the injured part. Cold compress is basically ice wrapped in a napkin and, kind of
Ice not to be put directly.
Ice not to put directly. Please remember that. Ice should never be used directly. Always wrapped in a napkin and then only use it on the child. So,
up ahead, can we really be 100% safe? Sachin's going to answer that. And of course, what prompted them to move from the US to here? It's Shalini and Sachin, SafeBaby.in. Messages and back. Conversation with Sachin and Shalini from SafeBaby.in.
This is Good Morning Mumbai, and you're with Rishi K.
Radio 1.
Sachin, can we really be 100% safe?
I guess not. But the question here is that some studies have shown very clearly that baby-proofed homes have 70% fewer accidents than homes which have not been baby-proofed. And the other question is, and I don't want your listeners to have some sort of misunderstanding about this. We want children to be children. A very famous child psychologist said that play is the work of childhood. We want children to play more and more. We want them to explore. When a child tries to taste something, the child is not being naughty. The child is being a child. That's how the brain has been wired. It is our job as adults to make sure that the space that they are playing in, the environment that they are playing in, is as safe can be.
Hey, the move from the US to here, how did that happen? Couldn't have been an overnight decision.
I'll let her go first.
Go Shalini, go. Yeah.
it was just one fine day, Sachin quit his job and said, okay, we're moving back. But now...
All great things happen because of alarm bells ringing, yeah.
But the move for my kids has been very, very good. I'm very happy that they're growing up with both sets of grandparents. I'm extremely happy about that. I though feel that I wish there were many, many good daycares out here, because for a working woman, having the work-life balance is very, very challenging. It's very difficult to take care of your house and your kids and have a good corporate job. So for me, I'm very happy to work with SafeBaby, but otherwise I feel it's extremely challenging for a working woman in India.
Let's actually sign off with some safety tips or procedures on vacation. I mean, we've talked about in daycares, in creches, at home. What about when you travel with the child?
As I said earlier, Rishi, that safety has to become a habit. It's extremely important. And once it's a habit, the very first time you enter a hotel room, or for that matter, even when you sit in the taxi, the very first thing you tell your travel agent is that we want a driver who's safe. We want a driver who will not talk on the cell phone while he's driving. When you enter a hotel room, you see if there are any plastic bags lying around. You see if the curtain rods are within the reach. The Roman cords should not be within the reach of the child. If there is a tub, you have to be extremely careful. You cannot leave children unattended in water. It's very, very dangerous. So balconies, sometimes you have lovely balconies. You're staying on the second floor. Most of the hotels do not have grills, and children being children, they will open the window, they will try to explore. So be extremely careful. Choose rooms which are much safer, which are on the lower levels, away from the swimming pool. when you read about accidents happening over the vacation, they're mostly drowning cases where the children just open their hotel room and, go towards a swimming pool. So take 5 minutes, look at your environment, and that's true even for a playground. When you take your child to any place new, whether it's your friend's house, your relative's house, take 5 minutes to inspect how safe is the area for your child.
Sachin, thanks so much for coming and hanging with me on the show.
Thank you for
yeah.
having
Thank you,
us.
Rishi.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Just before you go, your coordinates one last time where people can mail you the site as well as the Facebook page.
Sure. It is www.safebaby.in, and you can also email us at info@safebaby.in and like us on SafeBaby if you do. Thank you so much.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Up ahead, Arjun Kapoor with My New Wheels. You're going to love this one. Stereo Love, Edward Maya.